In the small dusty village of Nembi, where the sun painted everything gold and the chickens ran freely across red paths, there lived a quiet girl named Zuri. She was only 17, but life had already shown her many tears. Zuri and her mother lived in a tiny mud house with a leaking roof and one old mattress they shared. Since her father died 2 years ago, everything had become difficult. Her mother, Mama Ebel, used to sell roasted plantains by the roadside, but her health had grown weak. Zuri tried to help, but there were no jobs for young girls like her. Most days, they had only water and Gary to drink. One evening, Zuri sat outside their home, looking at the sky that was slowly turning orange. Her stomach rumbled, and her mother was coughing again. She felt helpless. The hunger, the stress, the sadness, it became too heavy to carry. So she cried. Not soft tears. These were the kind of tears that came with pain from deep inside the heart. Her shoulders shook, and her breath came in gasps. And that's when it happened. From her eyes, instead of water, came noodles. Long, shiny, steaming noodles. They fell onto her lap like a miracle from heaven. Zuri gasped and quickly wiped her eyes. She stared at the warm, golden strands resting on her old wrapper. "What is this?" she whispered. She touched them. They weren't sticky. They smelled like spicy jollof noodles. Curious and desperate, she picked a strand and tasted it. Her eyes widened. It was the most delicious thing she had ever eaten. Not too salty, not too oily, just perfect. She quickly scooped the rest and ran inside. "Mama," she called, waking her mother. "Mama, eat this. I found something." Her mother sat up weakly, took a bite, and her eyes lit up. "Zuri, where did you get this?" "This is heavenly." Zuri blinked. "It came from my eyes, Mama, when I cried. My tears turned into noodles." Mama Ebel stared. "From your what?" Her mother was silent for a while, then nodded slowly. "Maybe it's a gift. A strange gift. But maybe God has remembered us." That night, they ate until their stomachs were full, for the first time in many weeks. Zuri woke up early. The birds were still singing when she sat on the same spot and thought about yesterday. "If I can cry again," she muttered, "maybe I can feed Mama every day." So, she thought about her father, the hunger, the suffering. The tears came again. And like magic, so did the noodles. But this time, she had another idea. She packed the rest into nylon and went to the market. "Hot noodles. Spicy and sweet," she shouted. At first, people laughed. But one woman, Auntie Sharon, bought a pack. She tasted it. Her eyes widened. "Ah, my goodness. Who cooked this?" she asked. Zuri smiled shyly. "I did." Soon more people gathered. By noon, she had sold everything. When she got home with the money, Mama Ebel cried tears of joy. Each day, Zuri would cry, collect the noodles, and sell them. The village began to talk. People came from other towns to buy her noodles. She gave the business a name, Zuri's Magic Noodles. They bought a small stall. They bought a fan. Life was changing. Zuri was happy. Mama was getting better. But then something terrible happened. One morning, no tears came. Zuri sat and thought of sad things. Her father's grave. Their days of hunger. Mama's sickness. Nothing. She watched a sad movie. Nothing. She dropped her father's ashes by mistake. Still nothing. The noodles didn't come. She sat on the floor, frustrated. Mama came in and saw her. "My child, why are you looking very sad?" "I can't cry anymore, Mama." No crying, no noodles. No noodles, no money. She was really hurt. Mama sat beside her and hugged her. "Don't worry. God will provide." But Zuri wasn't satisfied. She needed to do something. That night, she looked at her dog. Tambo was her best friend since childhood. Tambo always slept beside her and licked her feet when she was sad. She looked at him, with sadness all over her face. "I'm sorry, Tambo," she whispered. She carried him gently and left him in the thick forest behind their house. Then she ran home. As soon as she sat on her mat, the tears flowed like a river. Hot, heavy, and full of guilt. And just like before, the noodles came. The next day, she returned to the market with her noodles. People rushed her stall. Everything sold out in 1 hour. She made more money that day than ever before. Zuri's restaurant was now the most popular place in all of Nembi. People came from nearby towns, even cities. They called her the Noodle Girl. Everyone loved her food. They didn't know the truth behind it. Each bowl came from her pain. Each strand of noodle, born from tears. Zuri didn't like it anymore, but she had no choice. The money was helping Mama. They had built a new roof. She even sent Mama to a good doctor in the city. But inside, Zuri was breaking. Every evening, Zuri locked herself in the back kitchen of her restaurant. She would sit on a wooden stool, take out the photo of Tambo, the little dog she abandoned in the forest, and just stare at it. Her voice trembled. "I'm sorry, Tambo. I miss you so much. I didn't mean to lose you." As the tears came, so did the noodles. But after months, the pain of Tambo's memory became soft. The guilt faded, and the noodles stopped again. Zuri tried again and again. But now, Tambo's picture no longer made her cry. She even walked through the forest hoping to feel the sadness again. But nothing. Business slowed. People started complaining. "Zuri, where's the noodles? Why is your shop closed this week? We came from far places. Don't disappoint us." Zuri panicked. She didn't want to lose everything. She ran home and found Mama in the kitchen peeling yam. "Mama, I can't cry anymore." Mama smiled gently. "That's good, my child. Maybe your heart is healing." Zuri nodded. But she wasn't smiling. That night, she opened an old photo album. There it was. A picture of her and her mother, from the year Papa died. They were both skinny. Mama's eyes had no light in them. She stared at the photo until the room went silent, and then the tears returned. Hot, fresh, full of fear. And with them came the noodles. The next day, the restaurant was packed again. People danced and clapped as they ate. Zuri smiled at them, but inside, she felt a heaviness. To keep her business running, she had to keep crying. And to keep crying, she had to stay sad. Her mother came to the restaurant one evening. She watched Zuri from a distance. The girl had grown thinner. Her eyes were always red. Her laughter fake. After they got home, Mama sat Zuri down. "My daughter," she said. "What's happening to you?" Zuri looked away. "Business is fine, Mama." "No, you are not fine." There was silence. Then Mama said softly, "You are crying too much, Zuri." Zuri broke. She held Mama's hand. "I have to cry, Mama. That's how the noodles come. That's how we survive." Mama's heart broke into pieces. From the very first tears, to the dog, to the photo of her mother, everything. At first, Mama said nothing. She just sat there. Then tears filled her eyes. "My poor child," she said. "You've been feeding everyone with your pain." Zuri nodded. "I just wanted to help you." Mama hugged her tightly. "No food is worth your happiness, Zuri. No money is worth your soul." That night, Zuri didn't cry. She didn't stare at any sad photo. She sat quietly beside Mama and held her hand. "I'm done, Mama," she said. "No more crying. No more noodles." Mama smiled proudly. "Good." Zuri went to the restaurant early. People were already waiting. "Where's the food?" "Zuri, we're hungry. I came from 3 towns away." Zuri stepped forward and took a deep breath. "There will be no noodles today." The crowd gasped. "But why?" "Because I've been hurting myself to feed you," Zuri said softly. "And I can't do it anymore." The people looked at her. Some were angry. Others were quiet. One old man stepped forward. "You mean, you were using your pain to feed us?" She nodded. He lowered his head. "You are a strong girl, Zuri. But your tears are not ours to eat." The crowd slowly left. Zuri and Mama locked up the restaurant. But Zuri didn't give up. The next morning, she cooked real noodles, with pepper, onions, and spices. No tears involved. Just effort. She gave some to the kids on the street for free. Then something happened. People came back. Not for magic, but for her kindness. Mama Zuri, they started calling her. Women brought tomatoes. Men brought firewood. Children helped sweep the compound. Everyone helped. Together, they opened a real kitchen. A real restaurant. With food made by real hands. No magic. No sadness. Just love. One hot afternoon, Zuri was washing plates when she heard barking. She froze. Then ran outside. It was Tambo. Dirty. Skinny. But alive. Someone from a nearby village had found him and followed the collar tag back to Nembi. Zuri dropped to her knees, hugging the dog tightly. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Tambo wagged his tail and licked her face. Mama watched them with tears in Zuri's eyes. This time, real tears. But no noodles came. And that was okay. One night, Zuri sat under the moonlight beside Mama and Tambo. The stars above twinkled like tiny smiles from heaven. Zuri whispered, "Mama, do you think Papa would be proud of me?" Mama smiled, hugging her gently. "He would be proud, Zuri, because you turned your tears into something beautiful. And now, you don't need them anymore." Zuri closed her eyes. She was no longer the girl who cried noodles. She was the girl who fed hearts. A black car stopped in front of her restaurant one sunny afternoon. stepped out a woman in a gold dress, surrounded by others with notebooks. She introduced herself as Mrs. Priska, a leader from the Ministry of Women and Youth Empowerment. She had heard Zuri's story, and she was amazed. "Young woman," she said, "you are doing what some of our schools cannot. I want to support you." Zuri's eyes widened. "Support me? How?" The woman smiled. "We want to help you grow. We want to offer you a scholarship to study abroad, and also build a real culinary center for you here in Nembi. If you'll let us." Zuri fell to her knees crying. Mama cried again, but this time only happy tears. Months later, Zuri was invited to the capital city. She sat on a big stage. There were cameras, journalists, and hundreds of people. Her name was called. She stood up slowly, holding her breath. People clapped. Some stood up to cheer. Zuri gave a short speech. In simple words, "I used to think my pain was my only gift. But I learned something. Your tears don't have to feed the world. Your love can. Your strength can. Your courage can." Back in the village, Tambo had become a legend. Children loved playing with him. Zuri made sure he was never hungry again. He even had a small red chair beside the kitchen, where he would sit and watch people cook. Sometimes he barked like he was giving instructions. Zuri would laugh and say, "Tambo's the real chef." One day Zuri wrote a letter. She hung it on the wall of the restaurant for everyone to read. "Dear girl, I know what it feels like to be tired. I know what it feels like to cry quietly in the night. But I want you to remember something. You are not weak because you feel. You are not useless because you break sometimes. What you carry inside you can grow gardens. Use your pain, but don't stay in it. Don't give the world your sadness, give it your healing. That is where your power lives." Zuri Ebel. The sky was turning gold. Zuri stood outside her new kitchen, watching the young students prepare dinner. Mama was beside her. Tambo lay at her feet. The smell of stew filled the air. There was laughter. There was music. There was peace. Zuri smiled. "I used to cry noodles," she whispered. Mama chuckled. "And now?" Zuri turned to look at her. "Now I serve dreams." They both laughed. The fire crackled softly. And just like that, the girl who once fed people with her pain, now fed them with purpose. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.